with another video. Today's video is going to be an unboxing of the inverter. Now, inverter is in most RVs, correct? I'm learning all these things, guys, so be patient with me. The hubby over here, he gonna fill in if I screw it up. So anyway, so the inverter runs the refrigerator when you're not powered or you're not on your generator, so you can keep your refrigerator cool or keep it cold, like I said, when there's no power to the rest of the RV. So we had a smaller one in the RV, and we are upgrading, or we have upgraded to a larger one that can run all the outlets when there's no power. And Jeff still has to install that and wire it. You'll get to see a future video of him actually installing it, but not wiring it yet, correct?
I installed it in this one. I have to wire the outlets in the future. The fridge is powered with this one, plus it has 2 outlets on it.
Right now. Right. But in the future, you heard that? In the future, we'll have everything wired.
All the outlets.
All the outlets wired for when you have no power. Did I say it right?
Yes. Microwave.
In the microwave. So that would work, say, when we stop to boondock or something, or for lunch, we're on the road, or if we're trying to conserve energy, not use the generators, we can still use stuff. So you see the unboxing now, and in a couple of days I will share how to install the new inverter.
Alright, so the first thing that broke on us when we bought our new to us RV was the inverter. Our RV has a commercial fridge, not a commercial fridge, but a residential fridge. And if you followed our other social media, you've seen that we had some problems with our residential fridge. Well, after our first trip taking this RV home, we found out that the inverter wasn't working. It worked when we had it inspected, but when we got home, not so much longer. It was tripping immediately to overload. The inverter that came with the RV is an 800 watt modified sine wave inverter, which is kind of a so-so inverter. It's just powerful enough to run the fridge and make sure that works, and maybe something else, but it was only wired for the fridge. It had a nice transfer switch in it, so it would automatically transfer between the inverter and shore power. So as far as running the fridge goes, it was perfect. It was doing exactly what it meant to do. So I spent a little bit of time troubleshooting it and went straight into overload. I called the manufacturer. The manufacturer suggested that it was probably some transistors, so that they could repair it for $300 or $400, but he didn't recommend it, and that I could buy one of their spare stock because they quit making it for $500 or $600. Well, we knew that we were planning on doing a little bit more than just running our fridge with the inverter eventually, so it presented an opportunity to upgrade. I did some research. There's a couple of good brands out there. There's the top of the line brand as far as what I can find on the research, which is Magnum, really expensive. And then there's a couple other brands that aren't quite so highly rated, not nearly as expensive, but still pretty well rated and much cheaper. So the Magnum, probably 3 times the cost of the other 2 that we're looking at. We decided we wanted to go with a 2,000 watt inverter because we want to be able to run a couple other things besides just the refrigerator. For instance, I wouldn't mind being able to brew a pot of coffee without having to start the generator if we're not connected to shore power. So, did some research. We found the Magnum for $1,600 or $1,700 for a 2,000 watt inverter, and then we found Ames Power for roughly $600, depending on where you're going. So we ended up going to Ames Power 2,000 watt inverter, which we just got in today. First thing about it is it says it's heavy. It's a Keen Lift piece of equipment. It's 70 pounds. It's not really that heavy. You can grab it by the strap and lift it up. But if you can't move much weight, you might need to have a friend help bring it in. It's heavy because it's a big inverter. It's supposed to be a decent quality inverter. In my research, I found several people that said that they've been using them for 3 to 4 years with no issues. If I can get 3 to 4 years out of this for $600, I'm happy. Tell you the truth. This one is a true sine wave inverter, but it's a modified sine wave inverter, so it shouldn't give any of our electronics any problems. Some electronics don't like a modified sine wave inverter, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm the expert on inverters, but knowing a little bit about electricity, a modified sine is probably more along the lines of a square wave or a modified square wave inverter. So it doesn't give you nice clean power like a true sine wave inverter does. So it's not quite as nice as on your electronics. In fact, some electronics won't run on it, and some electronics will die on it if you use it for any lengthy period of time. So let's see what we got in the box. And inside the box we have another box. Yay!
Damn, don't like boxes.
Dog moved because he's had that experience with boxes. He may or may not have ended up under a box. As a younger dog, now that he's old and grumpy, we don't do that to him anymore because
you messing with my puppy dog.
Candace would never mess with one of your dogs, which. So first impression is that the box is pretty well for shipment. Looks like we got a pretty good user's manual, and it's all English, so this is all good material. So you don't have like 4 different languages in here like some things. So it should be a fairly useful user's manual. And we have a nice gigantic blue inverter. It's funny how it feels heavier when it's out of the box. So if you were to judge by the way it's packed and by how heavy it is, and from the basic looks of it, it looks like a pretty good inverter. It's way, way, way heavier and better built than either the stock 800-watt inverter that was in here, or we were using another RV that had a 1,000-watt Xantrax inverter, and this looks like a higher quality product than the Xantrax as well. So, of course, I don't know comparing it to the actual Xantrax performance and longevity, I don't know, but just from overall first impressions, I like this one better. Keep in mind though, this is pretty big. Hey babe, grab the tape measure at the bottom drawer there. It's a pretty big inverter. I said what the other bottom drawer. It's a pretty big inverter. It's 70 pounds. It's going to take up a bit of space. This one is probably twice, if not 3 times as big as the one it's replacing. It is 17 inches long, 7.5 inches wide, and 7.5 inches tall. So it's a pretty big inverter. So there's the Ames inverter. Tomorrow, if I'm motivated tomorrow or the next day, we're going to go ahead and get this thing installed and get some power to at least the refrigerator, so the refrigerator always has power. And then start looking at wiring it to certain circuits in the RV so that we can have outlets available to us when we're not connected to shore power and when we don't have our generators. If you have any questions, hit us up. I'll try to answer them, try to help you out. This particular inverter came off Amazon from Brian Boone's website. He's a solar guy that has a bunch of different information about solar and inverters and pretty good source of information. So a lot of the information I got about the particular inverters that I'm looking at was through his solar site. Go ahead and check them out.
Yeah, we'll make sure we link those websites and names in the description.
Alright. Thanks for watching our unboxing of the Ames inverter and our initial first impressions of it. Stay tuned for installation and how it actually works out for us.